Hey everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Michael Noland and I just finished showing up at Royce in the house tonight, folks. And on tonight's episode, we discussed Alice Cooper's brand new album, Road. But you know, this episode wasn't just about Alice Cooper's latest album, although we cover it quite thoroughly in this episode. But we also cover Alice's entire career and compare that album to some of his past masterpieces. We also go into exactly why this man is the shot in the arm that live rock and roll needs ASAP. All right, so join me and a cast of characters giving their 2 cents worth on this album, Road, by Alice Cooper.
Santa came early to my house, and that's his nickname. It's actually Michael Noland, the Bottom Line. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, you got the red version. Nice.
look at
Oh,
this,
yeah.
guys. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. Okay.
Wow, I
It
think
is-
you got better marbling on your copy than I got on mine, Royce.
I'm
that-
sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael.
I don't know. Let me check. Let's check it out. Let's just see how.
Bring out your record. I mean.
For those of you that don't know, this is a double album set, and it came with a Blu-ray DVD.
Yep.
Okay, let's see, Michael.
See, it looks like you've got a little bit more black in there. I don't
You
know.
think so?
Maybe it's the lighting.
Maybe not. Who
Could be
knows?
the lighting.
I mean, this is
the lighting, guys.
this is
I
just
really-
one
Yeah.
of this is just one of the
I think
four,
lighting.
so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was able to listen to this morning, and this is the Hellfest concert. Oh my God, this was so good! I listened to it right here on my computer.
And that concert is kick-ass. That
Oh,
concert
yeah.
is
Okay.
absolute kick-ass. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I have to say, well, first of all, hi to Eric Schultz who just joined us. Appreciate
Hey,
you, brother.
Eric.
And the Music Sanctuary. Okay, about to leave the top
The
of the channel.
Sanctuary's
I almost
in.
missed you,
Yeah.
man. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate everybody being here. But anyway, the thing that I really liked about this album, you know, now you've heard me say I loved Ozzy Osbourne's last album, Patient Number 9. Well, Ozzy
Right.
brought in all kinds of featured guests to play on different songs, and the band he's been touring with for several years now. Some of those guys only got to play on a couple of songs, and I was a little bit bummed about that. I mean, I enjoyed the fact that he brought in these featured artists. I mean, people like Eric Clapton and all kinds of people. I didn't write it all down, but
Jeff
but
Beck.
Jeff Beck,
He had
of course,
uh,
Zach
the
Wilde,
drummer for
Yeah.
Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins. Zach
for-
Wilde was kind of a regular,
Right.
but still, he played
Yeah.
on many songs.
Yeah.
And Tony Iommi played on songs, but I wasn't really complaining. But what I could really appreciate about what Alice did is he was trying to showcase how good his live band was.
That's
The
right.
band that he always tours with, and they are great. I'm telling you. I mean, you've got like on guitars, Tommy Henriksen,
I love Tommy.
my friend Ryan Roxy, and of course Nita Strauss. Nita
Right.
Strauss.
And
So-
Tommy is one of the key co-writers with Alice.
Yeah,
now.
he's a key
and
co-writer,
other artists.
but
He's
everybody.
a producer, a songwriter, a guitarist, a bassist. He does it all.
No. That's right. That's right. Percussionist, keyboardist.
Yeah.
And
Tommy's releasing
a
his
major
solo
major backup singer. So then you had on bass Chuck Garrick,
I love Chuck.
drums Glenn Sobel, and of course, like I already mentioned, keyboards and percussion also Tommy Henriksen, and then everybody was doing vocals.
Yeah.
You know, Tommy Henriksen
Right.
was pretty prominent, and Bob Ezrin, who I didn't read played any instruments, was also a vocalist on it. But I
Right.
think everybody was tasked with writing some vocals, trying to helping to write songs. They all do backup singing, Roxy, all of them, and what a fantastic band. And I really respect Alice. I mean, he's getting late in his career, obviously, and for
Right.
him to let the band be a bigger part of the event by showcasing them and saying, hey, just my people these are my people. I take them on tour, and they are going to play on this album exclusively.
The thing is, though, Royce, what I like about this album, not just the approach, all right, but there's got to be, out of all the cuts, I would say 5 classic rockers. 5 classic. You can't, even I hate to say that, because there's really not filler. If you feel like there's some filler with this album, I'll tell you why. Because for the most part, there's a sort of ballad on it, right? There's a Pete Townsend song, a Who cover on it.
Magic Bus. I love that. Yeah. The last song on the 4th side.
Right. Yeah. But besides those 2 cuts, it's all kick-ass, driving down the road. We're on the road. This is what's happening on the road.
That's exactly music. It's like a theme album, and the theme is on the road, trucking down the road. Yeah.
Right. And can I read something to you, Royce? Because I still haven't committed all this to memory. Like I told you the last time we were talking about this album, I covered I'm Alice when that came out. That was June, right?
No, I remember,
And I did a whole video on that, and I hadn't seen it in months, so I watched it before coming up here. That's why I was late. Yeah. On that video, I brought out that Alice is playing a character always. First of all, Billy Corgan is a Christian. Now, he's what I would consider a crystal carrying Christian. He's one of those kind of New Ager Christians, right? And I'm not cutting it down. Whatever floats your boat is fine.
Right. Sure.
All right. But Alice or Vince Furnier,
yeah.
Middle name Damon. What a perfect middle name for the Prince of Theatrical Darkness, right? But he's more. I would imagine the way he talks and everything, because I have a Baptist background, and he sounds pretty much Baptist or something that could be attached to it. And I think he gets cut down a lot for that. But see, that's the real Vince. Even though he's changed his name officially to Alice, but that's the Vince. I differentiate the 2 men. He's a family man. He quit drinking. He's been sober as long as me. I've been sober for 34 years. I think he's right at 30. I just wanted to bring this up because as we get into the album, keep this in mind. Okay. The person, the artist is Vince. That's the guy I'm in love with. Vince is coming up with these lyrics. Let me read this to you, Royce.
Fantastic.
This just kicks my ass. Okay, let me make sure I've got it here. All right. From the very first song on the album, I'm Alice. I accept your adoration. I revel in your fear. But it's your imagination that has brought you here. So here's the revelation, and let me make it clear that I am your creation. And now I disappear. All right.
I mean, he's a great songwriter. And when and because I know he's a great songwriter, when I sat there and listened to the double album that I got from my good friend Michael Noland as a Christmas present.
Well, Royce, you sent me so much stuff, but anyway.
When I sat there and listened to this, Michael, I had the lyrics out, and I sat there with my reading glasses on and read along with each and every song. And you're absolutely right what you're saying, about I'm Alice. But that applies to every single song.
And what about the song Big Boots? Big Boots.
Yeah.
He was in an interview, and on purpose he wrote Big Boots because it's a song about them meeting a waitress in a little
cafe, a little truck stop.
Yeah, a cafe, a truck stop.
Right.
And all they could say was they looked at her feet and said, "Oh, wow, what big boots!" And the interviewer asked Alice, and he said, "You know what they're going to be?" He goes, "We knew that when I was writing. Yeah, of course they're going to be saying big boobs because that's really what the song is all about."
Yeah, of course.
The whole song is about big-breasted women.
Yeah.
How rock and roll is that? Take that, motley spew.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you know, Caitlin, the man is 75 years old. And in that interview, I think this is why you and I love them so much. When I'm on your stream and I'm typing away in the peanut gallery, and he said this in the interview. He says, and this is true for me. Okay, some of the lyrics in this song says, "If I wasn't in a rock and roll band, I'd be a criminal." In other words, that's my favorite song on the album is "The Dead Can't Dance." I love that song. All right, check that one out because I'm telling you, I've always been a fan of him as an artist, as a writer. I liked him better with the classic Alice Cooper band, but he never really let us down, even after that dissolved. And here's the thing about this whole aspect is he admits in the song and in the interview that playing live in a band, as he does at 75 years old, which his voice is in great shape. His band is as kick-ass as any band you can wish to see these days, right?
Yeah,
and on top of 3 guitarists, and the whole album, you have your center guitar, your left guitar, and your right guitar, which is exactly how I love my Alice. But he says it keeps him alive and that he can't even imagine retiring. But Alice said, "If you ask me how I feel, where my spirit is, where my head is," he says, "I've never let go of the child in me, and I feel like I'm 34 to 39.
Hey, you know what? Mike's got the spins, has a comment. We were just talking about this. Alice took us on the road. It feels a lot like he took us on the road. I mean, that is the premise of the whole album. Double album is being on the road. You know what it's like being on the road. So
and he takes on different personalities. For example, when he does what's the name of the song?
Frankenstein.
What's that?
White Line Frankenstein.
Yes, thank you. White Line Frankenstein, which is my second favorite cut on the album. All right. Now, Caitlin, think about, have you ever seen the Jeepers Creepers movies?
Yeah, you mean Creepers?
Jeepers Creepers. I'm sorry, Jeepers Creepers. Yeah, I was skipping to the second line in the song. Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers.
Okay, yeah, I like them too. And I even liked the third one. I thought, man, that one was jamming.
Oh, Hulu. I watched it the other day. Yeah.
Now listen to White Line Frankenstein and think of the Creeper. Couldn't that be? Couldn't that be? Yeah. I mean, you can just think of either of those horror films and White Line Frankenstein. Now, he wrote the song about the guy who drives the truck and moves the equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Because he says, and I believe him. He says he's just absolutely one of the luckiest men in the world because, first of all, his rules are loose to work with. People love to work with him because if somebody has to leave, like Nita did, he says, sure, go. And come back whenever you want, right? Right. And I believe him. And his roadies do. He says, but, when they quit working for me, there are a few monsters that work for me that take up another tour for 3 months and then another tour for 3. He says, this song, and he says, I have one guy in mind, but there's a couple that fit the bill. All right. So, yes, he is taking us on a live show. And the show is about putting on a live show. And what more honest way can you do that on a record than record the whole thing live in the studio? This is my favorite record since Welcome #2 My Nightmare. You know, the second Welcome to My Nightmare. I loved that. And I loved the fact that there was actually Alice Cooper band members from the original band on it. And by the way, Royce, don't forget, I covered this earlier this year. Alice, in the same interview I just saw, Alice says, and I've got another album that's ready to go. Keep in mind what he said in 2021. And his producer, Bob Ezrin, said in 2021 that there is a possibility that it'll be an Alice Cooper band record.
Bring it on. Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Who was it? Glenn that passed away? Glenn Buxton? Was that him?
I'm not sure.
So son's Glenn Buxton, but the rest of the band is there. And I've been waiting for that. I would just they helped him in the second Welcome to My Nightmare, and you can tell they're there. They've got a stamp. Those guys, I would just and plus, I love his touring band now. All right, I'm happy.
Yeah, I do too, yeah.
But I would claw. I would poke out eyes. I would bite to get tickets to see the original Alice Cooper band as fully intact as they could be.